sharing right and sharing often is really important. Because these social technologies encourage it, location-based, Facebook, Twitter, it's understanding how to use these tools in a way to share it that's authentic, right? You've got to express emotion. So if you're writing like a press release or a machine, when you're saying, hey, I'm working on this particular project and we had hoped to achieve 25% increase in sales, that's probably not going to work. But when you're talking about the emotion of perhaps maybe the hard work you're putting into a project, or you really want to see this work well, or this isn't working well in terms of what has my focus or attention right now. But you've got to share often. If you're doing it episodically, in the sense that you're talking about, so for me it may be, at one time it was video blogging. So, a lot of the tips and advice that I would share would be about video blogging. And if it was episodic, in the sense that I would just do it once every 6 months through the social channels that exist, you're really not making a case for being known in that regard. The 4-to-1 rule. So we're going to talk about the 4-to-1 rule. This is something that I came up with. It was sort of influenced by Chris Brogan's model, but I took it and I spun it a little differently because I like it, and it's much more actionable in terms of what it is that you can do when you sit behind the computer or you think about what it is that you're going to publish. So there is a formula in regards to talk shows that Steve Grubel shares that we're all very familiar with. So you watch Jay Leno or you watch David Letterman, and what's the formula that we always see time and time again? Guest comes on, Brad Pitt's there, he's looking obviously like Brad Pitt, and he talks about, hey, we just went to Africa, and Angelina's doing great, and we hear all this like fun stuff. We're like, hey, that's great. I feel like I actually know Brad, and I'm closer to him. He's really cool, and all that kind of stuff. But what happens at the very end? Every time, they plug a movie,
the pitch, yeah.
Right? They plug something. Buy my album. But what is it that we're okay with? Well, we're okay with the fact that we get to know him personally and who he is, and then he plugs what it is he's actually trying to sell. And so when I'm working with companies and brands, a lot of times it's hard for them to realize you just kind of got to get over yourself sometimes, because they're not going to just like you for you. Sorry, but that's the truth. You've got to be helpful, you've got to be interesting, you've got to be these things. We'll talk about what these mean specifically, but the fact of the matter is you have to earn the right to sell. And when we watch these talk shows and we watch the formula happen right in front of us, we're okay.
You have to assess this. All these questions matter, right? Can you devote the time? It is not an expensive endeavor. The reason so many public relations agencies and advertising agencies can't figure out how to make money at social media is because it has a lot less to do with selling stuff that those folks can use and more about devoting time. And since authenticity is so important, what's so complicated is how do I hire out somebody who is not exactly inside my four walls, which we could talk about also, because there is a way to do that and it makes sense often. Oftentimes, your public relations professional knows your company better than your intern. So it doesn't matter where they sit. They could be, if it's an intern that just came out of school, they may know your brand, they may not know your brand worth anything. It doesn't matter, they have a cube in your office. Your public relations professional has been working alongside of you for 5, 10 years, knows you, knows your company, knows your organization. They may be still a better fit to work with you on communicating on behalf of you because they know you. It's about knowing you, less about where you sit. But you need to know this. Are you committed to transparency? If you have an executive suite that is not committed to transparency, which I have a whole other presentation where I give about how commitment to transparency is critical in this day and age, period, for every organization, social media or otherwise. If they're not, then you've got a problem. Are you prepared to take action on the feedback? Mm-hmm. Right? This is where episodic folks get in real trouble. This is where DEGs, that's where we're thinking about it. So we're going to be putting together a strategy. We hope to get feedback. You want to get, remember, it's interactive marketing, right? So you are counting on getting feedback. Well, how are we going to handle that feedback? Who's going to take it, and what are we going to do to ensure that feedback is adequately managed? At this conference, we threw a 500-person after party, and literally at 3 o'clock in the morning, people were tweeting left and right, so I couldn't help it. They were tweeting my personal address. So literally at 3 o'clock in the morning, we get back to the hotel. I'm tired, very tired. I'm thanking everybody, right? And the reason I'm thanking everybody is because I have to act on any kind of feedback that we get. That's part of the rules of the road here. right? So are you prepared to do that? And most importantly, do you know what you want to accomplish? Do you know what you want at the end of the day from your social media efforts? If you don't, you're starting the cart before the horse. You don't stop.